Hey, I'm back. This is Goose with On With the Show, and I want to thank you for joining me today here on what I would consider a very, very special show today. The reason being is because when we went off the air Monday and we were loading the show and getting editing it, getting everything together, we had seen about the passing of James Earl Jones, who sadly again passed away on September 9th. And this guy is a legend in my book. He is one of the most amazing actors that I have come across. For my generation, he will forever be known as the guy who is the voice of Darth Vader. Um, I just can still remember sitting in the theater and when they're doing Empire Strikes Back, and he says that iconic line, "No, I am your father," and you see deep down that that voice just coming through, and everybody's, "Oh no, it can't be." Um, and he continued to be the voice of Darth Vader. Oh gosh, um, throughout the entire time. He's even credited with even doing the voice of Darth Vader for for many of the um, current movies, Rogue One, all those movies that with the sequel, the sequel movies that were just put out recently, doing the voice for a lot of the animated series. Um, all in all, let me tell you something. I'm going to go into this um, in just a little bit, but he had an amazing career with credits that ranged from film to television to Broadway to voice work to guest appearances. He, oh gosh, he was just one of the most amazing actors, and he died at the age of 93, which sadly, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but when you get into your 90s, it's almost I joke that when you get into your 90s, it's almost time to check your watch to find out when it is you're going to be going to heaven, um, and it's just a joke. But I didn't even know he was 93 years old. I had no clue. The man looked so good for his age, and I thought he was much younger than 93 years old. I was very shocked to hear some of the things um, when I was going through a lot of research. And I'm only going to show one article today. It's the article from the New York Times in just a minute. But I was amazed to find out that he grew up with a bad stutter, which is what I had when I was growing up. I did have a bad stutter also, in that one of his teachers had put him in theater to help him with that stutter. And he even then it said, he still has it, but he just learned to deal with it and manage it and be able to continue to act the way he did. He was just amazing. You ever come across one of those things, through Twitter where they ask, what actor's death was the most traumatizing for you? This one comes close to me again because I had seen him in so many really great things as far as growing up in the movies. And again, and for my son's generation, he was the voice of Mufasa, which is even crazier. I mean, he was such a talented voice actor. When they brought him in to do the voice of Darth Vader, he was not even on the radar at the time, and he can't come in. He was so impressive that George Lucas said, "Hey, you got yourself a job here." Um, and then to be the voice of Mufasa, and basically have that scene in the cloud. Remember who you are, and it's just like only that voice could be those characters. You understand? There's nobody else. I know that from here on out that they're going to try to get AI. They probably will get AI to copy his voice for future um, for future projects. And I'm sure that his heirs will be very happy because that's more money in their pocket. Just just saying. But it's not going to be the same. It really isn't. And I'm going to show a clip toward the end of the show from that's been going around from when he did Fences on Broadway. That was just amazing, and the tone he set for that show. But I'm gonna move right along. I'm gonna go to the New York Times article. James Earl Jones, whose powerful acting resonated on stage and on screen, dies at 93. He gave life to characters like Darth Vader in Star Wars and Mufasa in Lion King, and went on to collect Tonys, Golden Globes, Emmys, and honorary Oscar. Yeah, this guy was decorated. He was highly decorated as an actor. There are articles by Elizabeth Vincenelli. Hopefully I get it right. The world will remember James Earl Jones, who died Monday at the age of 93, for his contributions to film, some of which are secure in the pop culture canon. New York, however, will remember Jones for his contributions to theater, for which he received 3 Tony Awards, including one for the Lifetime Achievement in 2017. And in 2022, a rare distinction, the renaming of a Broadway theater in his honor. Jones once recalled that when he moved to New York to study acting in 1957, his father, Robert Earl Jones, himself an actor, took him to live performances. In rapid succession, the young man saw the opera Tosca, the ballet Swan Lake, the musical Pow Joey, and the drama The Crucible. This is a wide range. This wide range may help explain Jones's own rich, startling, diverse stage career. I agree with that. For years, the actor deftly navigated off Broadway classics, head scratching experimental theater, searching new works in major contemporary playwrights, and later in his career, popular dramas and comedies. Jones made his Broadway debut in the late 1950s, but throughout the 60s and 70s, he also appeared in smaller venues. In 61, for example, he was the Living Theater's avant garde, resolutely counterculture production of The Apple. In 1965, he won the Obie Award for his performance in Bertolt Brecht's Ball, and also appeared in George Bruckner's Danton Death at the Vivian Beaumont Theater. In the 1970s, he was Hickman in The Iceman Cometh, and in the 80s, he starred in 2 dramas by the South African playwright Athol Fugard, all three on Broadway. But yeah, this guy had an amazing. I mean, he started out very much as a Broadway actor. Um, and he was able to, I guess, move over to film and television. I think he'd already had like certain films, and going through the 60s. I mean, I know that he was nominated for an Academy Award for The Great White Hope. I have that on my list here. And The Great White Hope 1971. Sorry to look away. I have all these notes that I have to get through. But again, he will be most known for the being the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars. Um, and then he will also be known as Mufasa in The Lion King. But he went on to have some of the greatest. He was in some of the greatest movies ever. Let me just give you just a short list. He had 190 credits. IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, says he has 190 acting credits um, for film and television. Some of which can include, some guest star appearances, and some voice talent where he does voiceovers for cartoons and stuff. But here's some of the other films he was also involved with: Doctor Strangelove, The Great White Hope, Conan the Barbarian, which I didn't even know he was in, Coming to America, Field of Dreams, the Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Sneakers, and The Sandlot. You guys remember The Sandlot? The Sandlot, that baseball film with all the kids. You know, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Had a great, at the very end of the film, a great appearance by James Earl Jones, who played a former Negro League baseball player who knew Babe Ruth, who was blind and owned the beast that you didn't want to hit your baseballs into. Yeah, he was in that film too. He was. I mean, to just know that he had that kind of a career. He wasn't always the major player, but he was the player to remember. Oh yeah, he's right. Sometimes the biggest roles are not the ones that garner the most remembrance. It's always the ones that steal the show, that steal the spotlight. And James Earl Jones was a lot like that. Some of the awards he was either nominated or won awards for the SAG Awards. He won a Grammy. I didn't even know he won a Grammy. I think I was getting for voiceover work. He was nominated for an honor. He was nominated for an Oscar for The Great White Hope. He got an honorary Oscar in 2022. He was involved Cable Ace Awards, Daytime Emmy Awards, Primetime Emmy Awards, Golden Globes, Image Awards. It just went on and on and on. I could have put in a lot of the other things. I mean, for some of the independent films that he was involved in. Um, just nominated over and over and over again. He won 3 Tony Awards. Again, they said the one wasn't, a Lifetime Achievement Award. Of course, he would have won a Lifetime Achievement Award. This it's one of those things where you look back because you always think that this actor is going to be there again, and then when they're not there, that's when you realize, oh my gosh, I really miss them. There are only a handful of people, a handful of actors where their deaths kind of affect me. Robin Williams was one. Um, Bray Wyatt. You probably don't know who Bray Wyatt is. He was a professional wrestler who died very early on, but very creative mind. Was very good at what he did creatively. Um, and James Earl Jones, and of course, I'm every time that you see an actor, actress that you grew up with, um, they pass away. It affects you. This is going to affect me and a lot of people because again, we're gonna miss this dude. We're really gonna miss this dude. Let me go over some of the things really quick from Playbill. So I got this other stuff from Playbill where they said he was 27 roles on Broadway. The first one was a play called it says Camp. Well, it says Sunrise at Campobello. This was his first playbill in 1958 on Broadway. He would then go on to do such performances for The Great White Hope, Of Mice and Men, Othello, Fences, On Golden Pond, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Driving Miss Daisy, You Can't Take It With You. The last one that they had on there was The Gin Game, which he did in 2015. He was a working actor throughout his entire life. And let me just tell you something. Um, you know, a lot of people sit there and they say, well, I would love to be an actor. I'd love to go into acting, but I can't make any money at it. It's any industry, especially the entertainment industry, is very difficult to get into. Even when I mean, even when you make those connections and you think, oh, maybe I'll get a phone call and I'll be working with somebody. This is not always a guarantee. I was just talking with an actor friend of mine who's like, he loves acting and he wants to make it a career. And you have to be able to be willing to not be sometimes you and I'm not saying you have to take the real seedy roles, but I'm saying sometimes you have to start off with being an extra, and then you have to start off with and then you go into maybe some very minor roles where you're like waiter number three or guy sitting at table or then if you're reliable enough you keep going and maybe you work in commercials and then maybe you start getting some supporting roles and then all of a sudden you find yourself you know all the great actors they had to go through the game. Everybody in the entertainment industry has to go through the game. You've got to start somewhere and then eventually you move up. And then the problem I think with a lot of people is that they want to get the big roles, they want to get the big stuff early, they want to get all that stuff. I'm talented and I'm better than so and so. I can get those roles. Yeah, the thing is, so and so went through the work, went to all the auditions, got handed out headshot after headshot. I remember not maybe about a year or so ago, I read Michael J. Fox's memoir, Lucky Man. He talked about coming to Hollywood as a young man, trying to make it into the movie industry or the Hollywood industry, and realized how tough it was. And he was actually on the brink of going back to Canada when he got the role of Alex P. Keaton. He was that close to moving back to Canada, and his agent said, "Come on here for this one screen test or this one audition," and it had to be for Alex P. Keaton for Family Ties, and he got it. But even he had to go through the grinder of going to auditions, trying to decide whether or not to go in and do his waiter job. I think he was a waiter or something. They're all waiters at some point. You know, do I go to my job or do I go to the audition? You know, it can be that kind of a grind. It's like, and the ones who I think who truly get discovered are the ones that are like, I know I can do it. I know I can make it. And I'm not trying to like be Pollyannish about this. I'm saying that any job in the industry is difficult to get into. I've been trying to get in as a screenwriter for decades. I'm now trying to get in just to do anything, production wise, as a director or producer or writer. I've been trying for years to get in, and it's difficult. I have my master's degree in film and television. Just a little background, not to brag on myself, but I got I have a bachelor's in theater arts, and I have a master's in film and television. I know the industry. I know how the industry works. The problem is I'm getting older and older and older, and well, I'm not that old. I'll be 56 this year in just a couple weeks, but you have to keep grinding. I mean, I've even put out sent my resume out just to be a production assistant, just to work on the production system. I've worked on a couple. I've worked back on a couple of films. Nothing major, nothing big, but it's like you get that experience, and then you think that you can just roll it over into something, and then it's just for some reason they pick somebody else, and then you got to get your resume out there again and again and again and again. It's a grind. It's a grind. It's a grind. And I think that's one of the things with James Earl Jones was he wasn't afraid of the grind. Um, he wasn't afraid of the grind. He loved acting, and he went out and got. And for an African American man in the 50s, let's remember where he started. An African American man in New York in the 50s to start out on Broadway and then eventually move over to film and to continue acting. And some of the stuff I showed you here from Playbill wasn't even the stuff I didn't even see that stuff that they showed on the article. He did a lot of off Broadway stuff. He was willing to act, and I think that's one of the things that it's really really telling about him and his tenacity to want to really do a great job in an industry he loved. I mean, it would have been a sad thing if he all of a sudden just said, "I'm not going to be. I can't get in as an actor. I'm going to go off and drive a truck." That would have been a tragedy. That would have been a tragedy. And instead, he became one of the most memorable actors and voice actors ever. And that's the other thing I'll tell you really quick. If you want to go into acting, don't shun voice acting. I know a couple people who do voice acting, and they love it. And they have little things in their house, like little sound booths in their house where they do their voice acting. Because now it's all digital. You don't have to really go into the studio if you have your own studio, you can do it in your house. You don't have to go all the way to LA or wherever it is they want you to go to. And so you just have to, being an actor is a grind. I have a lot of people who say, I really want to be an actor, but I want to be successful. I want to be able to make money. I don't want to have to I don't have to struggle to be an actor. Let me tell you something. We all got to start somewhere. The struggle is real in everything. Not one actor, in my opinion, and just my opinion, I think went through this whole thing without grinding out. I really don't think that that's what happened. I think they had to really work hard to get where they're at. Let me take a cup of coffee. Today's coffee mug is from the Walt Disney Family Museum. But yeah, it is a sad, sad loss. And I will miss that iconic voice. Like I said, I'm sure whoever's in charge is going to AI that voice to make sure that it lives on forever. Let's just hope they do right by it. I don't think I have really much else to say other than rest in peace, Darth Vader. Let me just show you that clip. I'm going to end with this clip this is the clip from Offenses, and it's about 3 or 4 minutes long. It has some language in there, so I want you to beware. There might be some language in there that might be triggering, but this will really give you an idea of the amount of talent, the immense talent of James Earl Jones. Before I play the clip, because I'm not even going to come back after the clip's done. Thank you for watching the show today. I really appreciate it. If you like the channel, subscribe, hit the big bell for notifications, like the video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give me some ideas of what you think because this was a passing that was pretty big for me, and I think it was pretty big for a lot of people. So I'm going to sign off here with the clip, and I'll see you on the other side.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Liked you? Who in the hell ever said, I got to like you? What law is there to say, I got to like you? Do you want to stand up in my face and ask me some damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit. Ask your question. What law is there to say, I got to like you?
None.
All right, then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
Nigga, as long as you living in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
And clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. Why do you think that is?
Because you like me.
Like you. I go out of here every morning and bust my butt putting up with them crackers all day long because I like you. You is the biggest fool I ever saw. It is my job. It is my responsibility. You understand that? A man got to take care of his family. You live in my house. You sleep your behind on my bedclothes. You put my food in your belly because you are my son. You are my flesh and blood, not because I like you. It is my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Wait now. Let's get this straight right now. We'll go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand, don't give me my money come payday because he liked me. He give me because he owe me. Now, I didn't give you everything I had to give you. I gave you your life. Your mama and me worked it out between us. And lacking your black ass was not a part of the bargain, and don't you try and go through life worried if somebody like you or not. You best make sure that they are doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying, boy?
Yes, sir.
And you get the hell out of my face and go on down under A&P.